I wanted to confess something. I keep a daily journal of all my activities. I might be on the spectrum, but I never got confirmation for it. But you see, I have a very high-paying career, and I've been a bachelor for life. I never believed in serious relationships because I can't stand the same woman in my life for long stretches in a row. It is like a marathon. I bang away on the pussy and then I run away to a new finish line. That finish line keeps escalating into more and more grotesque desires for sexual pleasure that I almost feel unbearable to control at this point. I remember a few days ago after a 9-hour shift at my high-paying job. When I say high-paying, I mean it literally. I think my accountant reported I make at least 6 figures a month, if not sometimes 7. It puts me in a unique and interesting position. What I have found is that you can actually buy favors or buy off people in case you break the law. But due to my tendencies of non-commitment to any living human being on the planet, especially women, I have found I can even pay them to provide me favors. I know what you're thinking. Prostitution is the oldest job in the planet, as they say. But I'm not looking for those women, you see. I sometimes drive my Porsche around town and look at women and wonder, how much would I have to pay in order to get her inside my sex dungeon? Well, I found out the answer. With just $50, most come along, simply for the thrill of it. They have never had a rich and hot guy like me ask them for something like it. And once they enter my home, I'm overcome by an irresistible urge. I will try and paint the scene for you, since I can't provide actual evidence or else the FBI will come and arrest me. I have perhaps been responsible for many unsolved murders, and I just can't seem to resist the temptation whenever I spot another feminine walking meat sack down the street. What went wrong inside my brain? What is wrong with me in general? If I could answer these questions, perhaps I would have found the cure. But people like me are like sheep in wolf's clothes, and we walk among you every single day. Perhaps you just don't feel the need to make you our next victim. But let me get back to the main story. I was talking about... Oh, yes. So after a long day at work, I got into my expensive car, and I noticed a strange odor. At first I thought I might have accidentally dropped one of my healthy vegan meals, but then I realized the smell was worse than food ever could convey. I think it was the smell of death. For a second I took off my glasses and looked in the rear-view mirror, trying to remember what I had done the day before, and then it hit me. A violent urge of anxiety came over me, and I had to put my hands on my chest. Breathe in, breathe out, I said quietly to myself. I can now remember what had happened. I was driving around town and I spotted a group of homeless people. They seemed to be harassing a woman, clearly a drug addict by the looks of her, but she still seemed distressed, so I figured I'd put on my Good Samaritan hat and help her out. I parked my vehicle on the other side of the street and walked to my trunk. In it I had a whole arsenal of murder weapons, but today I figured let's go with something nice and quick, so out came the sledgehammer. As I closed my trunk, I could see they were dragging the woman into an alleyway and trying to rip her clothes off. If there ever was a potential rape taking place, I had clear evidence it was about to go down. On I walked to watch the alleyway, the woman screaming for her life it seemed. The 4 perpetrators were laughing and giving each other a high five, thinking they had just found their perfect victim. I came closer and closer, and then quietly put my sledgehammer to the ground. I asked them who the leader of their group was. They seemed like a gang after all, but I had to make sure. They looked at me like some kind of weirdo in a fancy suit, and I should just walk on, they said. But again I asked who the leader was. Eventually a grey-looking freak stepped forward and asked, "What's it to you?" This old guy surely had to be the leader of their little rape gang, and the rest was just a bunch of morons trying to fit in, or perhaps they get tortured if they don't follow along. I just can't wrap my head around groups like that. It's better to be a lone wolf serial killer in life. Trust me on that. I took one look at the old guy, grabbed my sledgehammer and smashed his skull in without warning. I felt such a desire to kill everyone in this alleyway that it felt like I was becoming possessed by the devil himself. Perhaps I am at those times. I like to think so. At least it makes it more fun to me. The guy was hit so hard part of his brain stuck to my sledgehammer and he collapsed to the ground. The other guys at this moment were scared shitless. I suppose they weren't expecting this and so they quickly pulled the woman off the ground and pushed her towards me while saying they didn't want her anymore. It was the leader's fault, they just followed along. As the woman was pushed towards me, I held her close to me with one arm, making it seem like I was some sort of savior. But then I turned my eyes towards her, and I was overcome with pure disgust. This woman doesn't look anywhere near human to begin with, so I snapped her neck. The people witnessing this were taken aback, and it was then I knew. I had to kill everyone, so I did. Only God knows how many times I have hit people's heads in with a sledgehammer, but judging by the massive amount of brain matter in the back of my car, and limbs underneath the seat, it sure must have been a wonderful dinner party. I'll keep you posted once I strike again, because the world deserves to know how my psychopathic mind likes to flow.